Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's varsity contest between Grace Christian and your own FOFCA Screaming Eagles. Before we get tonight's match underway, I'd like to ask you to please stand for a word of prayer. Following prayer, we'll have our national anthem and our starting lineups as well. Let's pray. Dear Lord, once again, we come to you thanking you for this opportunity. Lord, we ask that you watch over each of these schools. God, help them to be a blessing in their communities and to speak well for you. Lord, we ask that you watch over everything that is said and done here tonight. Give us a safe trip home at the end of the night as well, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. And now we're starting lineups. First for Grace Christian, number 14, Abby Sanford. Number 23, Allie Petrell. Number 18, Alexa Doty. Number 7, Ainsley Hazel. Number 17, Cindy Doty. Number 8, Allie McWirtz. And number 1, Deanna Brinkman. And now the starting lineup for your own FOFCA Screaming. Freshman number 14, Morgan Bowtree. Freshman number 23, Grace Bessler. Junior number 35, Mariah Blaine. Senior number 3, Wayne Longer. Senior number 13, Bethany Sunset. And senior number 4, Emily Longer. The Eagles are coached by Mrs. Kristen Schwartzentruber.
Alrighty, you heard it there. There are your starting lineups. Let's get this game underway. It's going to be a varsity game here. Grace Christian versus FOFCA. Alrighty, here we go. It's going to be FOFCA with the ball. It's going to be Morgan starting for the serve. And there's a serve from Morgan, goes over to the number 8 for Grace Christian. Now to the 23 over to Mariah. Reagan brings it up, and now Grace gets it over. 22 over to Mariah now. Reagan hits it up. Her sister Emily brings it over. 8 gets it to the 23 now over to Mariah. Reagan hits it up once again, and that's going to be Grace hitting it over the net. 7 hits it back. That's going to be a point for FOFCA. And there's the other serve from Morgan. Brings it up, and now to the 23. 14 gets it over, now to Reagan. Mariah with the hit. 17 hits it out way into the stands. That's going to be another point for FOFCA now, making it 2-0 here in the first. There's a serve to the 14. Now 23 brings it up. And it's going to be a point for FOFCA as it looks. Another serve from Morgan. That goes up to the 23. The 18 gets it over. That goes to Reagan. Now Mariah brings it up, and Emily's going to hit it over, but no, deflected by the 14. Reagan brings it up. Mariah with the other hit. That gets a point for FOFCA. That's going to be 4-0 here in the first. Now, what a great start for FOFCA Eagles here. But it's going to be another serve from Morgan. Gets it over. 8 hits it up now to the 14, and the 18 gets it over. That's going to be a point for Grace. And there's a serve from the number 14 to Mariah. Now Reagan hits it up, and that's going to be Grace getting it over, but does not. Grace tries to get it back over, but that's going to be a point for Grace. The team Grace, anyways. It's going to be a serve from the number 14. Goes to Bethany, but cannot get it over in time. It's going to be a point for Grace Christian. There's a serve from the number 14 to Mariah now. Reagan hits it up, and that's going, looks as if they try getting it over, but did not. So that's going to tie it up here in the first, making it 4-4. There's a serve. What a good serve. Bethany tries, but that's going to go to Morgan now. Mariah hits it back over the net. That goes to the 8. Now the 14 brings it up, and the 18 gets it over. And Reagan, wow, okay. Reagan hit it back. But that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. So now it's going to be the number 14 with the serve again. Here comes a serve. That goes to Morgan. And Reagan hits it up. That's going to Grace. Gets it over, and that's going to be a point for FOFCA. Now tying it up once again here in the first, making it 5-5. This ball goes over to FOFCA's side, and that's going to be Reagan's serve. Gets it over. 14 hits it up, and now to the 18, and Emily hits it back. It's now going to be the 23's serve for Grace Christian. Hits it over, and Morgan can't get to it in time, but very close. Now 7-5. A 2-point lead over FOFCA, Grace has. And there's the serve, goes over to Reagan, and, sorry, that's Bethany. And that's going to be a point for FOFCA. And there's a serve from Emily, now to the 14, 17, hits it over. And Emily gets it up, but that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. I do have to say, it is a pretty good day for volleyball. I mean, got some supporting fans in the stands, and there's the serve. That goes to Emily. Wow, what a diving effort. Good serve there from the number 1, but that's not going to be enough for FOFCA at least. So that's going to be 10-6 now. And another great serve by the number 1. That goes to Emily, and now her sister Reagan gets it up, and Mariah gets it in. That's going to be a point, 10-7. It's now going to be Grace's serve. Goes over to the number 23, hits it way back. That's going to be another point for FOFCA now, making it 10-8. And there's a serve for the number 23 of Grace. Hits it to the 14, 17, gets it up, and now the 8 gets it over. Mariah hits it up. Same with Reagan, and now Mariah gets it over the net, but that's going to be out. That's going to be another point for Grace. Now the serve from the number 7. That goes to Emily, and now Mariah hits it up, and that's going to be Morgan getting it over. To number 23, 14 hits it up, 17. That looks like it's going to be short, and that's going to be a point for FOFCA. 11-9 here in the first. Still a lot of game left, though. And the serve from Mariah goes over to the number 23. 8 hits it up, and now the 14 hits it over. Natalie tries to save it, and that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. A good effort, though. And now the serve from the number 17 hits it to Emily. Now her sister Reagan hits it up, and now Mariah gets it over. The 8 now to the 23, gets it over. Mariah tries to save it, but gets it to Reagan as well, and that goes to the stands. That's going to be a point for Grace Christian. And now here comes the serve from the number 17 now to Emily. Mariah hits it up, and now Bethany can't get it over. That hits the net. That's going to be another point for Grace Christian. There's a serve from the number 17. Natalie tries to get there, hits it, but it's not going to be enough. And here's the timeout. We'll be back in a bit. We're back here in the first set. If you're just joining, it's 15-9, Grace Christian. This is a varsity game, and there's a serve from the number 17. Hits it to Emily, but that's going to go out by the bleachers, and that's going to be another point for Grace now, making it 16-9. And there's a serve from the number 17, gets it to Emily, and hits it up. I mean, it must be frustrating when you almost get it up, but just can't get it all the way. But that's going to be serve from the 17, but that's short, so that's going to be a point for FOFCA. Both entering the double digits now, 17-10. And there's a serve from Bethany, now gets it to the 1. 14 hits it up, and the 23 gets it way over. That's going to be to Mariah, but gets it out on their side, so that's going to be a point for Grace. And now the number 8 is going to be serving here. There's the serve, gets it over to Natalie. Emily hits it up, Mariah gets it back to the 18, now to the 14. Pass to the 18, gets it over. Mariah tries getting it, but does not. So here comes another serve from the 8 here in a second. Goes over Bethany, now to Natalie. Mariah gets it over, now to the 8, now 14, gets it over to the 23, gets it over. Mariah gets it over as well. 14 to the 18, does not successfully get it over. That's going to be a point for FOFCA now, 19-11. And there's a serve from Morgan. That's short, though, so that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. There's a serve from the number 14, gets it to Morgan. Now to Reagan, now Grace. 14 gets it to the 23, who hits it there. Morgan now to Mariah. Looks like Emily's going to get it over the net. Now to the 17. 23 gets it to the 18, gets it over. Emily to Mariah. Back to Grace now. It's going to be 14. Bethany tries now. It's going to be Emily. Does get it over. What a play right there. And that's going to be a point for FOFCA. A lot of stuff happening right there in that play. Wow. That was a pretty neat play, I got to say. And it ended up being a point for FOFCA. That's going to be a serve from Reagan. Now 14 to the 18. Gets it over. But that's going to be a point. And there's a serve finally from the number 23 now. That's going to go to Giovanna, now to Mariah, and now 17 gets it over to the 19, who it's short. That's going to be a point for FOFCA. That's going to be 14 there to the 18, who gets it over. That's going to go to Elena now. 14 gets it over there. Well, that is going to be a point for FOFCA, making it 21-14. And there was the serve from Emily. Ended up short, and that's going to be a point for Grace. Oh, and a nice hit by Emily, but that's going to end up out. And there was a serve from the number 1 out of Mariah. That goes to Grace. Oh, Mariah tries getting it over, and that's going to be A point for FOFCA. That was a pretty neat play, if I'd ever seen one. Now Grace gets it over. That's going to go to the 17 now. The 8 gets it over, and that looks out. Yes, it is. That's going to be a point for FOFCA. It's going to be the serve from the number 23 of Grace. That goes over. That's going to go to 8, and that goes over to Emily, now to Mariah. Bethany gets it over. That's going to go to 23. To the 8, gets it over, and that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. One more point from Grace Christian can end the set here. But we'll see what FOFCA can do to recover. Now it's going to be serve here from the number 7 for Grace Christian. That goes to Giovanna, to Emily, now to the 8 and 14. Stops it from going to FOFCA. Natalie gets it up, and now that's going to be Mariah getting it over to Grace Christian. And Elena, now to Mariah. The number 1 to the number 14. Now 8 gets it over. That's going to end the set here. That's going to be a point for Grace Christian. That's going to be the end of the set here. We're going to transfer into set 2. We'll be back in a bit. Alrighty. We're back here. Still got about 40 seconds until the next set. Set 2 starts. And I gotta say, the game's going pretty well. It's that was an exciting first set, at least the start of it. And then Grace Christian did get a few points to finally win the set over FOFCA. But we're going to start set 2 here with the number 14 with the serve. Goes over to Grace. Now Mariah gets it up. That's going to go to Morgan. Now Emily to Mariah. And that's going to be out, and that's going to be a point for Grace. And there's a serve now to Bethany, now to Emily. It's going to go to Mariah. 14 hits it up, and that's going to go over from the 23. It does look like Bethany tried saving it, but did not, but that's going to be another point for Grace Christian. And the serve from the number 14 now goes to Mariah. Reagan gets it up. That's going to go to her sister Emily. 18 to the 14, now back to the 18, goes over, and that's going to be in, and that's going to be a point for Grace, making it 3-0 here in the second. And there's a serve now, goes to Grace, now to Reagan. Looks like it's going to be a point for Grace Christian. And there's a serve, now goes to Grace, hits it back. That's going to be yet another point for Grace Christian. Here's the serve, and now that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. There's the serve, now goes over to Natalie. That's going to get out, and that's going to be a point for Grace Christian, making it 7-0. There's a serve, now goes to Mariah. Looks like Alana tried getting it over to Emily, but did not, so that's going to be another point for Grace. Now 8-0 here in the second set. Now it's going to go to Natalie, now over to Emily, gets it over to the 14, now to the 11, 18 gets it over. That's going to be Natalie to Mariah. Now Emily tries getting it over, but does not. That's going to be a point for Grace Christian. The serve goes over to Natalie, now gets it to Emily. Mariah gets it over. The 11, back to Morgan, gets it over. And it looks like Bethany tried to get it over, but that's going to be another point for Grace Christian. There's a serve, goes over to Emily, now to Mariah. Morgan gets it over, that's out. That's going to be another point for Grace. It's now 11-0 here in set two. This is going to be a timeout. We'll be back in a bit. Welcome back, everyone. We're here in set 2 if you're just joining. Grace Christian won the first set, and they're right now leading 11-0 over FOFCA. That goes to Natalie. Mariah tries getting it over, but does not, and you can see just a tiny bit of frustration there. There's a serve, goes over to Emily. Mariah gets it up, and that gets back, and that's going to be a point for Grace. There's a serve, goes way out. That's going to be a point for FOFCA, now 13-1. This is going to be a serve coming up in a bit here from the number 14 of Morgan. And there's the serve, goes over to the number 17, to the 14 now. 11 tries to get it over, but just not enough power. That's going to be a point for FOFCA. And there's a serve from Morgan, gets it to the 8. Now 17 hits it up, 18 gets it over. Emily hits it up. And that's going to be a point for FOFCA. (13-3) here in the set. Make that 13-4. And this is going to be a serve from Morgan, number 14, now to the 8. 14 hits it up, 18 gets it over the net. That looks out. It is. It's going to be a point for FOFCA. 13-5 here in set 2. There's a serve from Morgan, gets it to number 8, and goes to the 4, and that's going to be short on them. That's going to be another point for FOFCA. There's a serve from Morgan, gets it over to the 8, now to 14. 23 hits it back, now to Emily. Mariah gets it to Grace, who hits it over. That looks out. It is. So that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. There's a serve from the number 23. It's
That was online, right?
There's a serve from the number 23 now to Bethany. Gets it to Grayson. The 23 hits it way up now to the 14. 8 hits it over the net. Pretty cool hit by the Emily right there, and that's going to be a point for FOFCA, making it 15-7. This is going to be a serve from the number 1 for Grace Christian. That goes to Morgan. Reagan gets it over. And that's going to be a point for FOFCA. There's a serve from Emily, now to the 14. 17 gets it to the 8. 8 gets it over. And that's going to be a point for Grace Christian, now 17-8 here in the second. It's going to be a serve from the 7 now for Grace Christian. There's a serve, pretty good serve. Now to Morgan. Reagan gets to Mariah, gets it over, that's in, and that's going to be a point for FOFCA now, 17-9 here in the second set. It's going to be a serve from the number 23 of Grace for FOFCA. That's short, that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. Here comes a serve from the number 17. Gets it over to Reagan. Mariah hits it up. Morgan gets it over. Now back to the 17. 23 to the 8. Gets it over. Reagan gets it to Bethany. Morgan gets it over. Now to the 1, to the 14. 8 gets it over. And it looks as if Emily tried but could not. That's going to be a point for Grace Christian. Now 19-9. And that was a serve, it looks, as that's going to be a point for Grace. There's a serve from the number 17 that is out, and yes it is, that's going to be a point for FOFCA as they now enter the double digits, 20-10. This is going to be a serve from the number 35 of Mariah for FOFCA. Gets it over the net. And Grace gets it out. That's going to be a point for FOFCA. Make it 20-11 now. Here's a serve now to the number 1. That's going to the 14. 23. Hits it back. And that's going to be a point for FOFCA. And there's a serve from Mariah, now gets it to the number 1. 14 hits it up. And that's going to be short. It goes to FOFCA, the point. There's a serve from Mariah. 17 gets it up now to the 14. 8 gets it over the net. Mariah to Morgan. And they hit it back, and so does the 17. That's going to be another point for FOFCA. Make it 20-14 now. Alrighty. It's almost a serve there by Mariah. There's the serve. Goes over to 17, now to 8. 7 gets it over. Natalie hits it up. And Mariah gets it over. Goes back onto their side. 8 with the spike. And Emily hits it way back. So that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. This is going to be serve here from the number 8 for Grace Christian. Now over to Natalie. It goes over, but 18 stops it. That's going to be a point for Grace Christian. There's a serve now to Natalie. Mariah gets it over to the 14 of Morgan. And that's going to be a point for FOFCA. 22-15 here in the second. Grace won the first set. Grace that's going to be a point for I'm not sure if they're having this. Looks like All right, looks like they're gonna redo the play here. So not a point. 23 now gets it over. That's gonna be a point for FOFCA as it got out. So 22-16. That last play was a bit confusing, and I'm sure Grace Christian was confused as well, as they did have a look of confusion on some of their faces. That's Bethany's serve there over to the 23 now. 14 gets it over, but Morgan tries to stop it. Reagan to Morgan. Morgan gets it over now to the 17, 14. That's going to be a point for FOFCA, making it 22-17 here in the second. And there's a serve from Bethany. 18 tries to not get it out. 8 now to Natalie. Emily gets it over. 14 now to the 18. Mariah to Reagan, now to Morgan. That's going to be a point for FOFCA now, 22-18. There's another serve from Bethany, now over to 8. 23 gets it to the 14 now. Mariah hits it back. That's going to be a point for Grace Christian. 23-18 now. This game's getting a pretty exciting game overall. I mean, the first set is a pretty cool set. Same with this one now to Natalie. It's into Mariah, who brings it up. 18 gets it over now to Natalie. Mariah to Morgan, who gets it over the net. That's going to be a point for FOFCA. 23-19 here in set 2. It's going to be Morgan's serve here. There's the serve. 8 hits it up. Now to the 1. To the 23. Gets it to Bethany. It looked like as if Morgan was going for it, and so was Mariah, and they just stopped and the ball went in the middle. But that's going to be a point for Grace Christian. 24-19. 1 point here for Grace, can do it all for the game. And here's a serve from the number 23. That's out. That's going to be a point for FOFCA. It's now 24-20. Grace has a 4-point lead over FOFCA here in the second set. This is going to be Reagan's serve. 14 brings it back. Morgan hits it up. Reagan to Mariah, who gets it over. They bring it back. That's going to be short. That's going to be a point for FOFCA. 24-21 here in set 2. And there's a serve from Reagan to the 8, now 14. 17 hits it up. Mariah to Emily, who gets it over barely. 14 now to Morgan. Reagan to Mariah, who gets it over. 14 gets it up. Oh, Emily almost got it on their own side, but Reagan stopped it. Reagan gets it up. Now Grace gets it to 18. 14 now to 18. Again, Emily to Reagan. Now to Grace, who gets it over. Now the 8 to the number 17. Now to Bethany. Mariah gets it over as well. Now to 8, now 14. 18 gets it over. That's going to be the end of the set and the end of the game for Grace Christian. What a play. What a great ending play that was right there.